Hello and welcome to Fight News Now Extra. My name is John Pollock and we've got lots of news coming at you today with John Ramdeen and Robin Black coming by to chat about all of it. We'll be discussing an intriguing bout that could become a reality at UFC 178, a Matt Hughes-Renzo Gracie rematch, 2 drug test failures, and of course, Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz held a conference call with members of the media on Wednesday to discuss his fight with Anderson Silva that was made official earlier this week for January the 31st of next year for what will be UFC 183 over Super Bowl weekend. Diaz seemed very happy about the conditions on his new deal, but said he is not excited about the fight, and noting that fighting is not something he enjoys doing, but is something he feels he has to do. Lyoto Machida is not holding his head down after his recent loss to Chris Weidman at UFC 175 and is looking for his next fight. Machida noted this week that he sees Luke Rockhold as a logical next opponent and how he respects the former Strikeforce middleweight champion. Rockhold has won his last 2 fights and last fought in April where he submitted Tim Boetsch. It has been over 4 years since Matt Hughes and Renzo Gracie met at UFC 112 in Abu Dhabi, and the two will tangle one more time, but in a grappling bout at next year's ADCC Submission Wrestling World Championship in Brazil. The event won't take place until September of 2015, which is 14 months away. Sherdog is reporting that UFC 178 could still see the addition of another big fight, with their report that the UFC is attempting to acquire the services of Eddie Alvarez from Bellator to fight Donald Cerrone on that card September the 27th. Alvarez still has one more fight remaining on his Bellator deal and is the promotion's lightweight champion. And finally, 2 failed drug tests were reported on Wednesday coming out of UFC 175 and the TUF 19 finale cards in Las Vegas. Kevin Casey tested positive for the steroid drostanolone after his TKO win over Bubba Bush, while Robert Drysdale's test came back showing elevated levels of testosterone with a 12-to-1 TE ratio after his win over Keith Barish. Drysdale had been on TRT and failed to get a license from Nevada his first time around for elevated levels last year. After his win, I spoke to Drysdale regarding getting off of TRT prior to the news of his drug test failure.
Robert, obviously a lot was made of the whole TRT issue going into this fight for you. Coming off of it, did your body respond in any negative ways? Some have had none?
Not at all, man. I feel great, man. This has probably been my best camp. I feel the best shape of my life. No, not really, man. I think that, I guess, I mean, in all honesty, I was on it for a little over a month, so it's not like it made a big difference to me. I'm used to not being on it, so it's fine. I'm fine.
Was it important to you to also clarify, because I think a lot of people just assumed a failed drug test, that there was just, it was on you, and you clarified that this was a clerical error. Was that?
Well, the thing is, the first thing I did was apply to the commission and the UFC. This is before I even picked up my prescription. They're fully aware of it. So when the random test came, I'm like, well, what's the surprise? You guys know, And there was some, I guess, I don't know how to put this, but some. I put it as a bureaucratic issue. I thought I had the license and I didn't, but it was a bit of confusion there. But it's all in the past, and I'm happy to move forward, and I feel great. I really don't feel the effects of it. Like I said, I wasn't on it long enough to feel much of an effect, to be honest.
And that was Robert Drysdale immediately after his win over Keith Barish, saying that, he never had a better camp. Body never felt better coming off of TRT. Little did he realize his ratio was 12-to-1.
Little did he realize, or he totally realized.
It must have been a total surprise to him. Wow, I had that much testosterone running through my body. You would think coming off TRT, his levels would be crashing through the floor. Complete opposite.
Doc, you can't believe it. I came off TRT, but it went higher. It's like a miracle. If it was Vitor, he'd have said it was a miracle.
To quote Robin Black last week, everything is wonderful. Anyway, Robert Drysdale, I don't know about his longevity in the UFC.
And you have to imagine that would be the case. The fact is that this is the second test that he's failed. On top of that, the win that he has is going to be a no contest. So I don't know if this Robert Drysdale looks attractive to the UFC. But Metamoris, they are down.
You know what, though? We were talking about this in the green room. That's where Ramdeen plucks his eyebrows and stuff. I don't do anything in there. And we were saying, Bellator might want guys like this now. So suddenly you have to be a little more careful. It's like, well, we maybe want to cut this guy, but if these guys take him, you put him in with Rampage and King Mo and Tito and all that. You put a high-level ground guy in. It's interesting to them.
Do you expect with so much of this in the conversation of late, that you're going to get more of a zero-tolerance policy, especially for lower-level guys like a Kevin Casey and a Robert Drysdale, that they're going to view them as expendable and send a message message that you come back dirty with a test, you're cut.
Yes, but it depends. I mean, the UFC still has obligations. They still have slots to fill. So it might be a situation where, okay, we have to do something right now, but we're going to keep you on the back burner. Just don't fail another test.
And like I said, like you also want to protect them from the other guys. But Kevin Casey, man, I had to look up that steroid, and they also call it Masteron, and it's like a bodybuilder juice. Like this isn't like, well, you know, I was taking some kind of thing for a cold, and it happened to contain Masteron. You know,
hey, like man, this is a big fight for him. Unification, Bubba Bush, come on, man. Legacy and RFA images on the line here. I guess he felt the need. Unfortunately, we can't spend all our time talking about drugs in the sport. We got to move on to some other stories. An interesting one right now, SureDog reporting that the UFC is attempting to get Eddie Alvarez. He's still holding a Bellator title, still has one fight left on his contract. If you're Bellator right now, what kind of message does this send that if they're willing to let Eddie Alvarez go? I mean, is this smart to just cut bait rather than go through with one more fight, or do you want to milk one more fight out of Eddie Alvarez?
Scott Coker obviously wants to maintain his relationship with his fighters. He's known in the industry as being a great guy to deal with. I would not be surprised if this was a conversation where it's like, Eddie, we'd love to have you here. We want you here. We want you to represent the Bellator organization. But I understand you have the opportunity to make more money fighting for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. We wish you all the best, but if things don't work out, you will have a place with the Bellator organization because we love the way you fight. You always excite the fans, and that's what Scott Coker's his model is, his mentality.
Yeah, I think you might be right. I think you're right. Scott Coker is not Bjorn Rebney. Bjorn Rebney would be like, let's go to litigation and let's make you stay here. Scott Coker might be, hey, if you don't want to be here, you don't want to be here. But on the other hand, they want to be in the position to take fighters. Yeah. They want to be in the position to say, hey, come on over here. The water's nice over here. So it's a tricky one. It's going to be hard for both sides right now. I'd like to see Alvarez fight in the UFC. I really would.
And they're talking about Alvarez and Donald Cerrone. That's the fight.
For UFC 178, which is beyond stacked at this point right now, even throwing out this potential fight with Cerrone and Alvarez, I question, is there almost too much in that you maybe want to spread out some of these fights over as you look to coming back in October on pay-per-view in Brazil. You've got the Mexico pay-per-view in November. I mean, they do have all these pay-per-views, and this pay-per-view, the lineup as is, I think most are buying this show. I mean, this is quite the announcement from the UFC in terms of, I believe, very much reactionary to that Vancouver number.
Yeah, but and exactly. The problem is when a big fight falls out and you have to anticipate fights are going to fall apart, the more loaded you can make your show, if something happens to fall apart, like look at the whole Jose Aldo situation, if you had a whole bunch of other big name fights on that card, you wouldn't have had to scrap it. And I think that's what the UFC is doing. Yes, sure, you have your big main event, but you have to load the undercard too, where people are saying, hey, I have to tune in for the first fight on the main card.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of value. You go, we got a good card. You had a couple guys. We got a great card. You had a few more. We got an amazing card. Then you had something like this. And you go, we got the kind of card that's going to do insane numbers and get people going. Remember that UFC we haven't watched for a while? Oh my God, it's badass these days. Like a real re-grab the fans style card. And that's kind of what this one is. And I'm kind of pissed off because it was supposed to be in Toronto. Like, we were supposed to be at it. You know, this is not fair.
Well, just as Dana White, Las Vegas wanted it more, Toronto.
We want it.
Well, we've got Fight News Now Extra because we know you guys want it right now.